Are you ready, 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 ready? Are you ready, 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 ready? Are you ready, 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 ready? Okay, so, ish, the way I like food, I'm already going towards the grapes and the tea. Welcome back to Chat With Tisa, everyone. It's your favorite Tonga girl. So today, as the title says, we're going to be talking about property. Essentially, the property series is back, okay? And one thing about the property series for me is that I like to talk about things that I have experienced personally or things that I'm going through. Buying property is a whole journey on its own. It's not something that happens overnight. And honestly, I've heard people say that, but once you experience it, you're like, oh, bablantis. So with the second property, guys, if you can look at the videos from way back then, if you scroll on my YouTube, how many months ago did I talk to you guys about the second property? Hey, 70% approval from the bank, and then I got another approval from another bank which was better than my own bank. And how many months has it been? It's been so long. So the property series is back because there's traction again on that property, and there's so much that I've learned with this property journey that I had to really sit and make notes. And the financial journal, there it is, I'll take it just now. I had to sit, make notes, go through old emails from that first property, compare it with some of the things that I had to sign and send on the second property, and really like, okay, what was the experience? What were the similarities? What were the differences? What were the costs? Invoices are there. I came with receipts today. I came with receipts. But on today's video, just today, tomorrow we have another one. Maybe not exactly tomorrow, but another one and another one and another one. And on today's video, I'm going to be talking about when you buy property and there's no agent involved. Like, how does that go down now? How does that mix go down? You know? And I never thought that, honestly, I would be buying property ever where there's no agent involved, even if it's the seller's agent, not necessarily the buyer's agent, right? So there was no agent for on my side as the buyer, and no agent for the sellers either. Like, there was no agent, and I'm like, it's like I noticed somewhere in the middle of this, so I'm like, oh, so this thing, we're just doing this thing, huh? Okay, whoa, ne? Let's cheers once again. I'm gonna grab my tea just now. Thank you everyone for really helping to grow the channel. Subscribe when you share the video and when you comment. You are literally increasing the reach of the video and helping grow this channel. So I like to always take a moment to welcome the new subscribers and to say thank you to those subscribers that have been there. Okay, so time to cheers. Now there's no cake, you know. Today is just some grapes. We're in the Garden of Eden. I didn't eat grapes, I ate an apple. Yo, I mustn't spill. I'm drinking tea today. I really like Five Roses tea. I'm drinking tea. So if you are watching right now and you have something in front of you to drink, let's cheers. Tip it to the screen. Kidding! Cheers! And sip. I share my experience with regards to buying the second property without an agent. The sellers did actually put their property up on a property website. That's how my mom brought this particular property to my attention. Like, she sent me the link and I was like, okay, let me have a look. And because we always have this image of the type of property that we want to buy. So I wasn't particularly excited about it, just like the first one. I was also not so excited about the first one because of how it looked. But you know what, ne? Those gems don't always look so shiny. I looked at it and I was like, okay. And why is it so expensive? We can't afford property that's in the millions. What? Excuse me? What? When? How? So when I went back onto that particular property site, when I was just making notes with regards to what I'd like to talk about in this property series, I noticed that that property was listed since 2016 on that property site. But because when that link was sent to me the first time around, I wasn't very attentive. I was just like, I looked at the amount and I looked at the property and I was like, but there's clearly something that my mother's experienced eye had in mind, you know? The eye and the mind, yeah, it's connected. She was also a bit doubtful about this amount that they were asking for the property. So she went over there because she doesn't live so far from there. Send a Tsonga woman, guys. She went over there and then she's like, oh, I see you're selling your property. Can we renegotiate this price? The sellers were just, first of all, Ubanwen. No, they Tswana. I think they Tswana. Umang. And then, Ona, Osi Ona Kingo, Watang. Let me not even try Tswana, guys. Did you not see it on the property site? Price. King no. I'm not saying that's what they said, but I'm sure they're just like, why are you knocking here asking us about this property right now? It's like on the property site. So, and you also like want to buy it for a cheaper price than what we advertise. Please do. Anyway, she left and then she looked for other opportunities of properties there. But no, man, it was still in her mind that property. She still wanted us to buy that one. So she kept going back to them to try and renegotiate this price, right? Because she felt like the price was too high, which is one of the main things that when you are buying property and there's no agent involved, you literally have to have some sort of market knowledge. So what is the market? The market is where things are sold, right? What is being sold here? Property. So you need to know how much a property is being sold for, how much a property is being bought for, what are the prices that are being put up on the properties in that particular area, and after how long do they actually sell. Maybe that can even give you some grounds for negotiating, right? That is something that the buyer's agent or the seller's agent will have information on if they are a good agent, you know? And I think even if you had the agent, it's good for you to know these things so that when your agent is coming at you with like, maybe the seller's agent is coming at you with high prices, you can be like, no. I checked out this and this information and it shows that in the last 5 years or 10 years, properties in this area have been sold for X amount. Properties of a similar type of this property, you know? So, because my mom lives in the area, and we also have bought the first property in that area, she kind of felt like, why is this one like this highly priced? And she also had her eye on another property as well that had it was similar to the one that she was going up and down trying to negotiate at. And then finally we tried to buy that one. It didn't go well. Clearly the universe was like, not that one, this one. Go back to the Tswana family, go back there. And keep trying to Koko nerukupa negotiate tatu. So she went back again when that sale with that other property didn't necessarily work out. She went back there, and it's an old couple, and they've been married for a very long time, and they old, you know, like it's probably the first property. It's probably the first time they ever sell their property, you know. And then she's obviously going there respectfully, but you know, they're probably seeing like this young girl. It seems like the husband was more willing to negotiate than the wife, and the wife was like, "Hey, I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I'm South African, okay? What's to give? Like they're giving away the property." I remember my mom trying to tell me the whole story over the phone. It's like, no, the wife was like, it's just the same as us giving this property away, you know, if we sell it for that price. I know we sit with this thing now. I'm just like, we are not paying 2.5 on the property side, I think they first had it up at 2.5 something million, and then now when I go and check, it's at 2.3. But obviously now it's being sold to us, but we still didn't get it from 2.3 million. So finally, hey, they budged a little bit, you know. And also, had I been attentive when my mom sent me that link to the property site and looked at when the property was listed, because now when I'm doing my research to come and talk to you guys on Chat With Tisa, I'm like, hey, now it is someone. Because had I seen that it had been listed on the property site since 2016. Hi, 2016 seems like a long time ago. What was happening in 2016? I was starting my job at EF, and that's a long time ago. It's a long time ago, you know? So I could have used that as, I mean, it's been up since 2016. Ain't nobody buying, clearly. So sell it to us, okay? And we're coming with a better offer than maybe some people that have tried to buy it, you know, could have used that as a way to sort of negotiate, you know, and sort of to maybe push another 100K lower and another 100K lower, maybe. But you know what? We still got it for less than the amount that they had listed it at on the property side, and that verbal negotiation that was happening between them and my mother. I can only imagine that how that negotiation would have went if it was between me and them, because hi guys, when they see kids, even the agents actually, when they see how young you are, they don't take you seriously, bruh. So the fact that even my mom, I think at some point my mom went with her husband, I think maybe, you know, just to, yeah, you know, to be taken seriously sometimes in life. That's why I must also show up a certain way so people can take you serious. So that's the second part of it. So first it was that market research that you would need to know, do that research to find out about maybe the past 5 years, how much have properties in that area been sold for, right? And other than that, you also need to do that research of like what is the nature of business here in this area? What happens here, you know? Is it mainly people coming here to work? Are they like different companies where people just come to this area for work? Or is the area suitable for families? You know, is there a school nearby? Is there a mall nearby? Those sort of things. Just looking at those things about an area that before you buy into it, you'd need to do that research. And like I said, even if you do have an agent present, I think you should still do that research, because not all agents are great, knowledgeable agents that keep themselves up to date with, you know, that type of information, right? The second thing is having to negotiate yourself now, okay? And if you want, just for this, if you're young, you know, like me, and I'm sure the sellers don't know, they have no idea that property it's mine. They probably think it's my parents' property, and that's okay. They can keep thinking that, because maybe they would have undermined my knowledge and etc. because I'm young, or wouldn't have taken me seriously, you know? So sometimes just take somebody older with you to speak, you know, and just be like, you know, in the background and be quiet. Act like you're just covering the adult. Maybe give them pointers on what to say and ask. Because really, I've been told by people about agents, even agents just not taking them seriously after seeing their picture, that, oh, it's just this young girl, okay, young boy, okay. So use your parents, use the adults to help you out, yeah? Now, we have a price. My mom comes back and says, okay, this is the lowest they're willing to go. They're not willing to go anything lower than this. But also, you know what, the size of the property and, you know, all other factors that she listed, you know, it's not so bad. It's just we want to try and save as much as we can on our end. And I'm still skeptical about, like, are we even going to get approved for a loan that is this high? So with the price, I said, okay, now we're going to need to start applying for a home loan with the banks. So one of the things that you need is an offer to purchase that has already been signed by the sellers and by the buyer, you, right? And if the sellers are married, and it's, I think, married in community of property or just married in general, I don't know, they both have to sign. So we need to get this offer to purchase done. They don't have their own lawyers. Remember, this is an elderly couple. It's probably their first time selling property. They've probably heard a lot of stories about agents, and they just decided, you know what, we don't even want to go with our agent that we had on the property site, because the agent is there. They're like, we're not even going to go with that. We're going to go with a private sale. We're going to handle everything on our own. I think over time, they started really seeing how my mother is somebody that they could trust. So she could help them with getting certain things done. So she explained to them that, okay, fine, you've given us a price now, but we need to get an offer to purchase done and signed that we're going to now submit to the banks when we apply for the bond. And they're like, oh, okay. And I think my mom was the one that also found the lawyers that helped to draft the offer to purchase that was then signed by both parties, the seller and the buyer. And then I sent that to the bank when I was applying for the property. Done. Okay, we wait for the approvals. And then the issues came in now with my things, and that's another video because we need to go into that. So this is where now number 3 comes in, where there are gonna be those added responsibilities. Okay, so maybe you are gonna be buying from an elderly couple, or you're gonna be buying from a young couple, and they don't necessarily know the whole bond process. They don't understand the transfer process, right? Maybe this is the first time that they sell property, right? Maybe they have bought property, but before, when they did that, they had an agent to guide them through this, right? And then this time around, they just want to do it as a private sale. So you who's buying, knowing very well that you don't have your own agent, which is the buyer's agent, or they don't have an agent at all, right? And this becomes now a private sale. And apparently when it's a private sale like this, you're not protected by the Consumer Protection Act. And I would assume that the Consumer Protection Act would come into play when there's like disputes between you and the sellers, etc. So the Consumer Protection Act there would not apply. That's what I read when I just did a bit of extra research, right? So they're the two of you now doing this thing together, but instead of you giving the responsibility to them, it's very important for you to be well versed on how the process actually goes. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At least have somebody that is going to lead the blind, you know? So don't also just choose the blind background role. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna wait for them to say something. No, be the one that even if they say something, you already know stuff about the process. Okay, so that's one very important thing to look out for when you are buying and it's a private sale and there are no agents involved, right? So going back to being the one that is leading, yabo? Because also my mom, even though she's not necessarily new to this property stuff, there are things that now we have to explain and we have to be aware of that they might not, right? And that she might not too. So I needed to go and revisit what I knew from the first time we bought property. So, okay, now the lawyers thing, they're asking, the bank comes and they come and evaluate the property. So we explain to them, the bank is going to come, they're going to come and evaluate the property. And then after that, obviously, whatever happens after that, the bank will communicate that to me, right? But now we need to explain to them why things are taking so long so that they also remain patient, right? We need to, they were chilled. They just said to us, like, you know what? We want to sell it to you. It's fine. Just let us know when everything comes right. But now we have an offer to purchase that says we have to get this bond within 30 days, right? if anything happens and the sale does not go through in 30 days, remember, an offer to purchase is a legal binding document, right? So you don't want to like also relax just because they said no, take your time. Follow your offer to purchase. It said 30 days. Now it's taking longer than 30 days. Explain to them we have to sign an addendum that then gives an extension, and this is why we have to do it again. Okay? It was great that they did not need to cancel a bond. It seemed like this property is something that they had already paid up. So there were no bond cancellation attorneys required. All the attorneys that were required were the bond registration attorneys that the bank will assign, and the transfer attorneys that the seller should assign, right? Once again, we're dealing with an elderly couple which is doing this for the first time. So they didn't necessarily assign transfer attorneys. You can choose your own transfer attorneys. I think can the buyer also like maybe make that decision about transfer attorneys? I wonder. But anyway, anyone who knows better, please let us know in the comment section. So they obviously didn't assign any transfer attorneys, and I didn't necessarily say, hey mom, they actually need to get transfer attorneys to facilitate this transaction, etc. I didn't say any of that. I just got contacted by the bond registration attorneys that are representing the bank and the transfer attorneys, and it was the same attorney company. So I guess they took on the role of being the transfer attorneys as well. Kill two birds with one stone. Let's not be cruel to animals. Hit two cans with one stone then. Okay. And my mom, the whole time, she was just very anxious about who's going to pay for these attorneys. Who's going to pay? We need to let them know beforehand if they're going to pay. I don't want them to think that I duped them and whatnot. My mom didn't use the word dupe. She's a Tsonga woman. Come on now. But, you know, you can imagine what she said in Tsonga. But throughout, there were so many documents that they needed to sign, right? That my mom would have to always, like, go and get them printed, take it to their house, explain it to them after I've explained it to her, and then they sign, scan and send back to me, and vice versa. We need building plans. Okay, get the papers from them. They're like, oh, we don't know, like this paper is so big, how are we gonna? And then my mom goes and does it, you know, that sort of thing. I'm not saying that this is exactly what you're gonna do, but can you see how she had to be that person to say, we need this, you need to sign this, you need to send this, you need to badabam, badabam, badabam. Meanwhile, if there was an agent, the agent would be sort of doing those things and facilitating that without us having to say to the sellers, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. This is what this is what that is, you know? So to close, would I say purchase property with no agent involved, or make sure you use an agent? I can't really say, because my experience was okay. Everything was fine because we were patient with the sellers and we were willing to explain certain things. I don't know how much of an impact it is to not be protected by the Consumer Protection Act now when it becomes a private sale. I don't know. But even if there is an agent involved, even if you have an agent, right? Or there's a buyer's agent, or there isn't an agent on the buyer side, whatever the situation might be, you need to make sure that you negotiate the price of that property. How do you negotiate? Know something about the market, right? Know something about the area. Know something about how much properties in that area of that particular type are being sold for before you overpay for something. And even though we negotiated the price, I was never ready, ever, for the lawyer fees that I paid for this property. But that is on the next video. So stay tuned as they're actually very like right in front of me. In case you guys think I'm gonna disappear for a little while and I even have a clipboard, guys, because I came with receipts. I told you guys, you know. We're gonna compare these statements, these monies that I paid, so that you know more or less how much you can expect to pay on these lawyer fees. They surprised me. It wasn't my first time paying, but they surprised me, and I never want this type of surprise again. So thank you for watching. Na cancer, everyone. The grapes of the Garden of Eden.